What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Advice, and today I want to talk about a Pokemon that can be extremely frustrating to deal with, and that Pokemon is Chansey. Chansey has been confirmed for Gen 9 Scarlet and Violet's roster, and while its main partner in crime Shuckle's not yet been confirmed, Chansey's a Pokemon that with the proper setup and support can become nearly impossible to KO. I do have some underused and overlooked methods for dealing with Chansey that I'd like to share with you, but first I want to talk about how Chansey works. Now, Chansey has an insanely high base HP of 250, a respectable base 105 special defense stat, and while its biggest weakness is its base 5 physical defense, that weakness can be bolstered effectively by investing fully in Chansey's defensive EVs and allowing it to hold the Eviolite item. Eviolite allows Pokemon that are not fully evolved to receive a 1.5 boost to both their defense and special defense stats at the cost of their held item, and being that Chansey can evolve into Blissey, Chansey is eligible to hold a Violet and receive those boosts. Now, the most common strategy employed by Chansey players is to pair it with Shuckle. Chansey will go for Minimize, which gives it a 2-stage evasiveness boost per click, while Shuckle goes for a move called Guard Split. Guard Split takes the target and the user's defense and special defense stats and average them out. Being that Shuckle has a base 230 defense and special defense alike, this move actually increases the bulk of both of Chansey's defenses. Now, Shuckle has not been included as of yet in Scarlet and Violet, but there are other methods to support Chansey. You can use things like Reflect, Light Screen, Charm, Eerie Impulse, Intimidate, Burn. Anything you can think of that your opponent can use against your Pokemon to reduce their damage output can turn Chansey into an impenetrable wall. But like I said, I do have some options for dealing with Chansey that'll make it a little bit easier. And the first is this list of moves that not many people know about. So the moves on this list will hit with double base power against a Pokemon that has used Minimize at least once. And beyond that, the moves also bypass the accuracy and evasion checks when Minimize has been used. So 4 of the moves on this list that I think are the most effective that can be used on any team in Scarlet and Violet are Body Slam, Heavy Slam, Heat Crash, and Dragon Rush if you're a fan of Garchomp. Dragon Rush is Garchomp's most consistent physical stab, and most people don't use Dragon Rush because it's 75% accurate, but during cases where Minimize has been used, Dragon Rush becomes 100% accurate, never misses, and also has a chance to flinch the opponent. Of these 4 moves, I believe that Body Slam is the strongest option for adding to your team. Body Slam has a 30% chance to induce paralysis. Paralysis, I'd say, is the strongest mechanic in the game. Not only does it cut the opponent's speed in half once paralysis has set in, but also gives them a 25% chance to not be able to move each turn. So this gives Body Slam the most outside use beyond dealing with Chansey and Minimize Pokemon. So it's really nice that they have options that will double in damage and hit Chansey on its weakest defensive side. So good idea to include one of these moves on your team if you are team building in Scarlet and Violet and are worried about dealing with Chansey. Now the other option are these phasing moves. So we have Roar and Whirlwind. Roar and Whirlwind don't do damage, and they do have decreased priority, but they will eject a Pokemon out. So this is really good not only for dealing with Chansey, but also dealing for setup Pokemon as well as Pokemon trying to set up Trick Room. So like I said, Roar and Whirlwind don't do damage, and they do have decreased priority, but they are guaranteed to hit. They don't do the accuracy check, and they can also hit through Protect. So say your opponent is setting up Iron Defense or Amnesia. They're Dragon Dancing with Gyarados or Dragapult. Maybe setting up a Quiver Dance or a Calm Mind. You can allow your opponent to waste turns setting up, and then when you're ready, you can eject them out with Roar or Whirlwind. And the opponent does not have a say in which Pokemon comes in. The computer will randomly choose between the 2 Pokemon that your opponent has in the back, if they still have all 4 of their Pokemon intact, and will randomly bring in one of those Pokemon into the slot that you Roar or Whirlwind into. And this can leave your opponent in a vulnerable position that they don't expect to be in. You can use that momentum to change the flow of the game. So, not only can it stop setup Pokemon, but it can also prevent Trick Room. It does have decreased priority, but Trick Room has less priority. So that means that Roar or Whirlwind will hit the Pokemon and eject them out before they can get Trick Room set up, unless they have Magic Bounce ability like Espeon or Hatterene. So Roar and Whirlwind are great techs that many people do not use that can be really effective in stopping setup and stopping Trick Room, and your opponent just won't expect it. You know, even if you, like say you predict that they're going to switch a Fake Out Pokemon in, you can click Whirlwind into that slot. The Fake Out Pokemon will come in and immediately eject out, and now they don't have that Fake Out active. So there's a lot of ways you can use Roar and Whirlwind effectively. It's a really high skill move, I'd say, but can get you out of a lot of tricky situations. Now, Circle Throw and Dragon Tail are also phasing moves, but I don't recommend them as heavily because they are 90% accurate. So if the opponent has set up Minimize or any other evasiveness boosts, Circle Throw and Dragon Tail are unlikely to hit, but they do damage where Roar and Whirlwind don't. So these 4 moves are the phasing moves. They're good options for preventing setup, and in the case of Roar and Whirlwind, can be really good against a Chansey that has set up evasiveness boosts. So the other move, the last move I'm going to go over, is Vital Throw. Now, Vital Throw does have -1 priority, but it does also bypass the accuracy check, and it's a fighting move, a physical fighting move, so it hits Chansey super effectively on its weakest defense. And a Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet that has Vital Throw is Hariyama. So Hariyama, you can Terrastalize it into a fighting type. You'll get the Terrastall boost, you'll get Stab boost, you'll get the super effective boost. And, you know, it can be a great way to do big damage guaranteed against a Chansey that has a evasiveness setup. So, yep. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. I hope you learned something important that will help you out in your Pokemon competitive adventures. And if you enjoyed that, please subscribe. We got more content coming. I appreciate the support. We also like likes and comments over here, so feel free to do that, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.